Hi everybody. Alright, so I think this is video 4 in the CSEC English paper 2 section C, how to write a story, how to complete this section. Today we're going to talk about developing your story, ending your story. This is going to be another short video, and in my words, short means try to be below 10 minutes kind of video. Right. And so another short video, if you have not seen videos 1, 2, and 3, my suggestion is you check the description box below for the playlist, and you can watch the playlist and you will get caught up to speed. Watch all of those videos before you watch this video. Additionally, I am accepting stories, meaning I'm going to help to correct your stories. I am going to give you some feedback on your stories. So I'm accepting those, and you can send me those between now and May 2nd. If this video comes out after May 2nd, I'm no longer accepting those stories. So if you want to share your stories, if you want me to correct and offer you some feedback, you can email me your stories and I will do that. Alright, so let's get into the video. Alright, so we're looking at developing our stories. And when we look at developing our stories, after you've done your description of your setting or your character or both, then you go into going into the meat of the matter, which means that you need to make the details of your story flow. Your story must flow. It must seem somewhat seamless. Once again, I said this before, I think it was video 1. You need to stick to one tense. And when I say tense, I mean verb tense when you're writing your story. You cannot be in present tense, then past tense, then back in present tense. No, that's just too much for the reader. And when it comes to marking, that was one of the things that was specified on the mark scheme that you had to follow. So stick to one tense. Now, choose one narrative point of view and stick to it. Now, I'm going to explain what is narrative point of view, and then I'm going to explain the second part of the point. Now, narrative point of view is when you write your story in first person, meaning I went here, I saw this, I did this. So you're writing it from your perspective. I, me, mine. And so that is the first person perspective. And then you have the third person perspective when you're saying they, them, we. No, they, them, us. And so, sorry about that, guys. I had a memory slip just now. And if you're writing from third person perspective, that means that you can write and see different aspects of the action. So you can tell the story from John's or Mary's or Joe's point of view. But if you're using the first person perspective, it means that what you see, feel, experience is what you share. You cannot necessarily share what is in another character's mind, because the truth is you cannot read minds. You're writing based on your experience. Now, although I say you need to choose one narrative point of view and stick to it, often your point of view might already be chosen for you by the structure of the question. In video 1, we talked about writing prompts and the different types of questions that you might get. Now, I want you to know or note that your writing prompt, you need to look to see what point of view is the writing prompt directing you to use. So is it third, he went outside, he did this, he did that? Or is it I woke up and I am scared? So once you're given a point of view based on your writing prompt, it means that that is the point of view that you're going to carry throughout your story. So bear that in mind. Every story must have a conflict. If your story does not have a conflict, it's not a story. I love to say this just to make it clear. The conflict is a driving force behind the plot, and the conflict is basically the problem. What is the problem? Is it a problem between two or more persons? Is it man versus man, and so you have two persons struggling? Is it an internal conflict in that the character has some issue going on within his or herself? And so because of that, we see a lot of internal conflict coming out. Is it the conflict between man versus society? Some aspect of society is on the case of this character, or this character is running away from the government, and so man versus society. Or is the conflict man versus nature? I remember, and I love to share this story. The story entitled The Little Black Dog. I think that it's in Vintage 2, where this dog framed the man for murder. And guys, I kid you not, it's one of the best stories I've read in a while. And so that is man versus nature, an element of nature. It doesn't have to be an animal. It can also be a storm. Storm comes and destroys the property. It could also be this man has chickens, and every year this dog comes, or the fox comes, or the goat, whatever it is, man versus nature. But you must have some kind of disagreement, some kind of struggle, whether it's internal or external, that drives the plot of the story, that helps you to create that climax where the reader is like, okay, what's going on? I don't know what's going on next. That helps to propel the story. And so conflict is a must. And to show you how important conflict is, I said it before. A story without a conflict is not a story. Make your conflict simple and easy to follow. There must be a climax, and as I said before, the point where your reader doesn't know what is going to happen next. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It could be that a gun is drawn, and I tell you guys, my brain is very active. A gun is drawn, and at that moment, you don't know whether or not the character is going to die, or whether or not there's going to be another alternative. That is the climax. The point where the reader is like, whoa, what? Like, that, what's going to happen? That kind of point in the story must have that. Now, the ending of your story. You can end your story in a number of ways. You can use a cliffhanger where the reader is left wondering what is going to happen. You can resolve your story. You can have a twist in that all of it was a dream. You know, everything that we thought it was not. What is important is that you offer a suitable ending to your story. And so suitable ending that the reader feels like that they're just not left wondering what's, or how come the story finished so quick? That kind of ending. So you must ensure that there is some sense of closure in your story. Now guys, that's basically it. No, it's not. And so let us review. Let us review. Writing a short story, there are few things you need to consider. You have only 45 minutes. So you have only 45 minutes. You have to ensure that you develop the various elements of your story. You have to limit your characters. Ensure that you don't have too many characters. Integrate description or elements of description in your story. You have to include a conflict. Once again, you have to include a conflict. And remember, your story must have a beginning. So you introduce your setting, your characters, and basically start to introduce your plot. It must have a middle where you describe what is going to happen. You include your transitional words, and you develop your plot and your conflict, and then end, in which you explain how the story ends, describes what happened, all of those beautiful things. Now guys, I think that's it. We basically made it a little over the 10 minutes mark. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me, let's see what we're going to do in this video. Tell me, which type of ending do you prefer in your story? Do you prefer just a simple resolution of the conflict, or do you prefer a twist, a cliffhanger? Tell me what it is you prefer in your story. How do you prefer to end your story? And let us have a discussion below in the comment section. Additionally, remember to subscribe. If you're not subscribed, remember to like, click the bell, because I've heard if you don't, you will not be notified when there's a new video. And come back tomorrow where we actually write. We're going to write. Alright guys, have a great, fabulous day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.